tutti. Good morning, everybody. First of all, welcome to Rome. Benvenuti a Roma. It's a pleasure to welcome you at the Farnesina, the second largest building in Italy after Reggia di Caserta. We have here the collection Farnesina, works created by artists from all regions of Italy related to the different kinds of visual art. It's an exceptional collection. For the first time ever, a selection of it has been shown at the United Nations in New York. This shows the immense power of art to build dialogue, understanding, and peace. Unfortunately, for me, it's impossible to stay with you because at 10:30 we start the meeting of the Italian government on the situation in Iran after the death of the President of the Islamic Republic. It's not easy situation. For this I will leave in 5 minutes this meeting, but for me it's important to talk for 4 or 5 minutes on the importance of this meeting. I wish to thank the Young Ambassador Society for inviting me. Thanks also to all of you for your enthusiasm, your competence. We need team. Your meeting here is very important for Italy and for me, for the presidency of the G7. It will give more strength to the work of the G7. Italy really wants to have your opinion, your views. This is why I'm here to open your initiative with the Minister for Sport, Young Generation, Andrea Abodi. Your program reflects the concern of the young generation, climate change, jobs, artificial intelligence, inclusion and equal opportunities, and peace. In this moment, we need to work hard for peace everywhere. Your concerns are also our concerns. Italy leads the G7 at a time when the international picture is very complex in the Middle East and Ukraine. The Italian G7 is for peace, stability, and growth. We want to shape policies that in every sector put the human being at the center. We want to go beyond the G7, strengthening dialogue with global partners, starting from the G20. On environment, we are really engaged in a balanced way on key issues like the environment. This is a key issue in our G7 agenda. We don't deny the climate change. We do not want to lose jobs. For this, we need to be very pragmatic in our engagement against climate change. Jobs are important. For this, we need to pave the way for a good action against climate change, supporting at the same time industry and agriculture and research, because without the real economy, it's impossible to have more jobs and also more jobs for the young generation. On Africa, Africa is a key strategic priority of the Italian government. Africa for us is crucial, is our counterpart. We need to look at Africa with African glasses and not with European on Italian glasses. This is very important. We need to work for growth. We need to work for a better cooperation between the young generations, between companies. We need to organize more investments in Africa. We need to work on climate change. We need to work on space. We need to work on agriculture. We need to work against terrorism. We need to work in favor of peace. We are strongly engaged in sub-Saharan region for peace, for the stability, against terrorism, for supporting agriculture and industry. Italy, Europe, G7 are industrial countries. We need raw materials. There are in Africa a lot of raw materials. For this, it's important to organize joint ventures with win-win agreements. Interest of Africa is our interest, and for us it's very important to look at Africa, but also to look at South America, because we need more G7, more Europe, more market. The challenges of our time require teamwork. The Italian G7 want to be inclusive. Institutions, companies, civil society, all generations. Everyone is needed. All contribution is crucial. Thank you very much for your enthusiasm, for your commitment, for your hard work. Count on me, count on the Italian government. We want to back the young generations. You are the present, but you are the future. And without your engagement, it's impossible to work for a better future. It's possible to do it, of course, but we need a strong engagement. We are ready for doing what we need to do, but the future is in your hands for this. You count on me, but Italy and the G7 count on you. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Minister Tajani, for your presence today with us today, and for your inputs, and for hosting us in this amazing location. We are very grateful for your presence. My name is Alberta Pelino. I'm president of the Young Ambassador Society, and as chair of the Y7, I'm proud to declare the Y7 Summit 2024 officially open. The Youth 7 is the officially youth engagement group of the G7, and is the platform that gives the possibility to young people to share directly their ideas and policy proposals with other states and governments of the G7 countries. It's a great honor to be here with a lot of young delegates coming from all the G7 countries, with ministers and representatives of institutions. And now I would like to leave the floor to my colleague from the Young Ambassador Society, Eduardo, who will be moderating this session. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Alberta. Thank you once again, Minister Tajani, for honoring us with your presence today, for your insightful inputs, and for hosting us in this very important location. Also, thank you and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for your support to the G7 engagement group, to the Y7 engagement group this year. And I'd like to thank very much your cabinet, in particular Ambassador Genuardi, the whole team of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation that has worked very hard with us to make this event and this engagement group possible this year. In particular, Ministro Plenipotenziario Lehner, Consigliere Giulia Mantini, the G7 G20 Office, Segretario Delegazione Rossella Rossi, Marcella Scotto Di Vettimo, Melania Rossi. Thank you all very much. I now have the great honor to introduce Minister Andrea Abodi, who is the Minister for Youth and Sport. Minister Abodi, thank you very much for all the work that you and your ministry are doing to support the younger generation, and thank you very much for honoring us with your presence today. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today for the opening ceremony of the Youth 7. First of all, I would like to greet the Italian Vice President of the Council of Ministers and Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Antonio Tajani, who is hosting us, and all the authorities here today. A special thanks goes to Mrs. Alberta Pelino for the remarkable work carried out by the Young Ambassador Society for giving voice to younger generation within the G7 and G20 activities. I'm also pleased to convey my warmest welcome to all the young delegates from the G7 countries. Benvenuti a Roma. Dear youth representatives, distinguished guests, within the next few weeks, the global leaders are coming to Italy to debate about the foundation to build a more prosperous, sustainable and inclusive world. The challenges we are facing in this historical moment are particularly acute, and I'm referring to the ongoing wars, the climate change, hunger and poverty, digital and green transition, social inequalities, and the transformations in the labor market. All those challenges cannot be addressed by a single country and without involving younger generations. Fostering an activist citizenship, promoting the social inclusion of young people and their contribution to the protection of our democracies are priority issues for the Italian government, both at an international and national level. At an international level, the actions Italy is taking are inspired by the European Youth Strategy 2019 and 2027. We are focusing our attention on 3 strategy tasks: engaging, connecting, and empowering young people. Boosting youth participation and civic engagement are our top priorities. We are working to build bridges between countries, keeping firmly in mind the Sustainable Development Goal of the Agenda 2030. In this regard, let me mention the Youth Council established by Italy and France in May 2023, as well as the various measures in favor of young people we are carrying out within the Italian Piano Mattei for Africa. At the national level, our commitment is to create new meeting places where young people can gather, can be involved in decision-making processes, and can actively participate in combating all types of discrimination and hate speech. To encourage the dialogue between young people and institutions, we have conceived a web platform for youngsters under 35, Youth 2030, is a digital space open to proposals, ideas, and suggestions, and above all, to exchange experiences and good practices. Furthermore, in our 166 spazi civici di comunità, community civic places, spread throughout the country, we are supporting young people in their individual and collective empowerment process. This project promotes active participation in social life, with particular attention to fragile young people, such as NEET, those not involved in education, employment, and training. Moreover, after the pandemic, mental health has emerged a pressing challenge, so we have also introduced structural financial support for psychological therapies aimed at helping young people. In addition to this, we have continued to provide youngsters with new opportunities such as the Universal Civic Service, which intends to promote the individual and professional development of young people and their acquisition of skills through non-formal learning experiences. Youngsters can dedicate 12 months of their life to perform community service and social activities with a focus on environment, agriculture, cultural heritage, digital services, elderly care, development cooperation both in Italy and abroad. The program has involved thousands and thousands of young participants over the years with the goal of fostering social cohesion and public welfare. And then I'd like to recall the project Youth at the Library and Network. The first one is devoted to make libraries more accessible through more than 100 cultural initiatives. The second one supports the inclusion of young people in the labor market, involving them in training and career guidance. Finally, I would like to mention the Carta Nazionale Giovani National Youth Card, our flagship with more than 3 million young owners aged between 18 and 35. They can have access to goods and services in an innovative way and with a view to reduce economic, cultural, and social inequalities. The card aims to at promoting the quality of life of young people, supporting their personal growth and encouraging their participation in cultural, sport, and social activities. In conclusion, all these projects, among others, are strongly committed to empower young people, and I do believe that if every national community is able to develop and implement projects in favor of young people, to listen of their needs and involve them, we are all on the right path to build a more inclusive world. Therefore, I'm confident that after those days of work, research and debate, you will be able to identify common ideals and inspiration, as well as to propose suggestions for the next G7 summit to design a shared strategy to tackle the global challenge in our contemporary society. As the future leaders, innovators, and change makers, you are the testament to the fact that your voice matters. And together we can make the difference. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all the best in our joint work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister Abodi, once again for being with us today, and also for your very insightful inputs that I'm sure are going to be very useful for the work that the Y7 delegations are going to carry over over the next days. And especially thank you for highlighting the important role of young people to make a positive impact on our society, and the priorities you mentioned around, fighting against climate change, against inequalities, promoting peace, and also the challenges that many of us have in the labor market today, and overall the importance of empowering young people. Thank you very much. And we do look forward to sharing with you the Y7 communique at the end of the summit. I also like to take this opportunity to thank the diplomatic advisor Cristiano Musillo for his support over the past months. Thank you all very much. I now have the pleasure to leave the floor to Alberta Pellino, founder, president of the Young Ambassador Society, chair of the Y7 2024. Alberta, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eduardo, and thank you very much again to Minister Tajani and Minister Abodi for their presence today. This year, the G7 and Y7 are called to address very important issues that are affecting our society. Current times represent a challenging historical moment for many young people, and in particular for all the young people who are suffering extremely due to wars that are affecting many countries. In addition, today, youth are still facing several challenges, from high unemployment rates to a fast-changing labor market that requires updated skill and a smoother transition from school to work. Inequalities are still very high in our societies, with many young people still left behind. Moreover, climate change is having devastating consequences on the economic and social systems of many countries, and urgent policies are needed in order to ensure a transition toward a sustainable economic system. There are all issues that are top priorities of the Y7 agenda this year, and are also the result of consultations that we conduct every year, in which thousands of young people share their visions on which one are the priorities that should be addressed by the G7 and also G20 leaders. We are gathering here today not only because we believe in young people's potentials, but because we have seen it. From pioneering digital initiatives to designing youth-centric cities, from reviving cultures to proactive measures against climate change and food crisis, young people are at the forefront. At the moment, there are 1.8 billion young people globally, the largest population ever, creating significant potential for inclusive and sustainable growth. In Italy, to give you, for example, 20% of the new enterprises are now founded by young people. And this is a number that is growing in time. And the majority of these new companies are pushing forward the sustainability and the innovation agenda. The Y7 Summit is an important step of a process that started in February and will continue until the end of the year. In the past months, we worked already with the international delegates and a lot of young people in Italy to build a bridge between institutions and youth. We have included thousands of young people in the process, giving them a space for innovative policy making. All of this has been made possible thanks to the support from the Italian ministries, international organizations such as FAO, OECD, ILO, UNICEF, UNDP, SDG Labs, and our partner, in particular EY, and also the support of Microsoft, Bayer, Illimity, CDP, ENGIE, L'Oréal, Serum, Veolia, and the communication partner, Cominen Partner. A huge thanks to the amazing team of the Young Ambassador Society that is here today and that every year works very hard to accomplish our mission. Dear delegates, I wish you a very successful summit. During the next few days, you will be working together, sharing ideas and points of view. And I'm sure that you will be finding differences. But instead, I urge you to find commonalities. Find the ties that bind us together and work together towards a world where collaboration overcomes conflicts. Please make a conscious decision to listen, to have deep conversations, and to really understand the other's point of view. I strongly believe that one of the biggest advantages of taking part to the Y7 summit and having in the same room youth coming from different countries is that you can meet and better understand other cultures and need just staying in this precise room. Take advantage of it, forge partnerships, collaborations, and friendship that I'm sure will last in time. Remember, the Y7 is about working for all the young people that are out there. As we engage in discussion and decisions over the coming days, our mission remains clear: to amplify the voices of young people globally. Our goal should be that every single young person, regardless of where they come from, is seen, heard, empowered, and actively able to shape in their future. A world where collaboration is the primary strategy. Once again, thank you very much to Minister Tajani, Minister Awadi, and honorable guests, dear delegates, for joining us in Rome for this very important event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alberta, for highlighting all the important themes that have been prioritized in the Y7 process this year. And as you mentioned, also a big thank to all our partners that have collaborated with us this year. And in fact, now I have the pleasure to give the floor to Massimo Antonelli, who is the CEO of EY Italy and also COO of EY Europe West. Mr. Antonelli, it's a great pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eduardo. And first of all, let me thank all the institutions and ministries present today and the Young Ambassador Society. But I want to tell you that it's really a great pleasure and honor to me to be here with you. I mean, I'm really confident that together, hand in hand, I think we can build a better future for us. And let me say that we are facing a period where, the changes are constant, quickly, and there are a lot of problems which are still to be solved. A period shaken by crisis, economic crisis, by wars, by poverty, by climate change, and where, frankly speaking, I think that in the past years we have set aside some values. So I am sure that together, with you, with the new generations, with the lifeblood of the future, we can face these topics. We can face these issues. We can work together and solve them. You are the guardians of these values. I think that you are the bearers of a new, fresh vision of the world. So Well, in my daily experience, I mean, in the firm I represent, I mean, we are 9,000 people in Italy, in EY, and 400,000 people worldwide, whose average age is about 30 years. And every day, I can really touch with my hand what is the contribution, the value that you are able to bring to us. And when we work with the institutions, when we work with our clients, you are able to bring your value, your vision. You know how to do it. And so, I mean, I really appreciate your contribution also in my firm when we have to face all the topics, all the problems that we are facing in our market, in our countries, with our clients, and so on. So I think that this meeting is really a huge opportunity to put the new generation at the center. So we, together with the Young Ambassador Society, we will be at your disposal. We will support you with our competencies. We will be close to you, I mean, to make your ideas heard, to expand your networking, and so on. So please count on us. We will be close to you. But let me say that what I'm confident is that you are able to be really effective with your proposals. I recently experienced a roadshow in the main Italian universities talking about the topics that you are going to face during these days, talking about sustainability, innovation, inclusiveness, entrepreneurship, and I've seen how the new generation are prepared, balanced, with a clear vision, and so you know how to do it. So let me conclude saying that I'm really, really happy to work with you. I think that it's a great opportunity to bring your ideas, your policies to the big players of our world. And I'm sure that the result of our cooperation will be a great success. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Antonelli, for your insights and especially on your encouragement for young people and the work that the delegations are going to carry over in the next few days, and highlighting the importance of youth in making an impact on our society, and also, once again, the support of EY that has given us this year. Thank you once again, and now is the time to leave the floor to the young delegations. I'd like to give the floor to the youth delegates that have worked with us over the past few months to start drafting the Y7 communique that will be approved during the last day of this summit, and then it'll be delivered to the G7 presidency. Each delegation will now have 2 minutes to present a summary of their priorities, and I'd like to start with the Italian delegation, and I'll call on stage Gaia Guadagnini. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Antonio Tajani, the Italian Ministry of Sport and Youth, Andrea Bodi, the Director General of the Food and Agricultural Organization, the Italian G7 Presidency, the Young Ambassador Society, our fellow delegates, esteemed guests, and in particular, my colleagues, Marco Colpo, our Innovation and Digital Transformation Delegate, Abril Kashia Muvumbi, our Inclusion and Equal Opportunity Delegate, Lorenzo Manganelli, our New Skills, Entrepreneurship and Future of Work Delegate, I am Gaia Guadagnini, the Environmental Sustainability and Climate Delegate, and it is with great honor that I present the Italian Y7 delegation today. We came before you today having spent months in negotiation. Through this discussion, a truth emerged. We possess an abundance of practical solutions to the crisis plaguing our world: climate change, the technological revolution, and vast demographic shift. Yet, finding common ground, bridging the gap between ideas, proved far more challenging. The needs are clear: to bequeath a clean, just, and secure world for future generations, we must prioritize climate change. Technological innovation must harness for sustainability, respecting environmental boundaries and prioritizing human development. For young workers to tackle these challenges head-on, we need competitive labor markets with fair remuneration. To reach a just and equitable society, barriers to basic services must be removed, and underrepresented communities and minorities should have a voice at the table. We know our system shortcomings, and several solutions exist. What then are we still missing? We think we miss pride. Pride in our common goods. The Italian delegation vividly remembers the citizens of Emilia-Romagna who left their homes due to flooding, and the fear of Sicily inhabitants when wildfires have widespread across cities. We miss courage. Courage to embrace a profound systemic revolution shaped by the forces of ethical AI, large migration flows, and extreme weather events. History teaches us that such revolutions pave the way for unparalleled collaboration and innovation. That's why I'm proud to be here today, proud to be part of a group of young women and men who made a silent promise to one another. We will transform these challenges into opportunities. We will create new models that prioritize the social justice, environmental sustainability, and economic equity. This is the future we deserve and demand. A future built with courage, a future that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gaia, for your presentation. Now the word goes to Canada with Kathy Hu. Please, the floor is yours.
Sorry. Excellencies, fellow delegates, good morning, bonjour, buongiorno. I am glad that all our paths indeed have led us to Rome for this summit. My name is Kathy Hu, and I'm proud to represent Canada alongside my fellow delegates, Terence D'Souza, Kathleen Henriques, and Bhavan Pushpellingham. Canada is filled with diverse communities and different realities. However, amid our differences, we face similar challenges. Nowhere in this more apparent than in our efforts on climate change. As a delegation, we recognize climate mitigation and adaptation as reparative justice and strive for increased private and public sector collaboration and the mass redirection of capital towards emission reduction and clean energy. On digital transformation, we recognize that disinformation and AI-driven threats are undermining our democracy. For this, we seek an expansion of the G7 rapid response mechanism to include vulnerable democracies, and further call for stronger accountability measures for AI developers and deployers. Artificial intelligence also needs to be included in conversations about future of work. Canada is pushing for a future that is inclusive, environmentally ambitious, and digitally conscious. We're proposing policies that will encourage equal opportunities and reflects today's generation needs and expectations in the workplace. Equal opportunities also means that to address systemic barriers by ensuring basic goods and crucial services. It is imperative to develop future-oriented, human-centered, and sustainable solutions. This brings us to an issue of grave concern to young Canadians, the crisis unfolding in Gaza. Youth are demanding action and denouncing the unfolding violence in the region. Not only in Canada, but millions of youth all over the world who are sharing similar grief and pain. We are 32 young leaders with the opportunity to speak for the 14,000 voices lost in Gaza to date. Let us not undermine our capacity as young leaders by avoiding the difficult conversations. And like Chair Pelino said earlier, it is exactly the time to have those deep conversations. Let us take this opportunity to create a communiqué that proposes the strongest solutions for peace. We do have a stake in this, and we can indeed add to a momentum of voices advocating for peace, humanitarian access, and the protection of human life. Merci, grazie.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cathy. Now I'd like to give the floor to the European Union, Augusto González. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Esteemed guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Augusto González. I am the head delegate of the European Union. I have the pleasure of being accompanied today by my fellow delegates, Kira, Carolina, and Milko. And as much as I am inspired being here in Rome to be Cicero, I only have a few minutes, so this will not be the Philippics. In terms of new skills, we believe in lowering barriers, both financial and bureaucratic, to young people opening businesses and becoming entrepreneurs, as we believe that young people are indeed the future, and we wish to be a continent of will-bes and not has-beens. When it comes to improving the environment, we believe in reestablishing our biodiversity and restoring lost habitats. We all remember the stories of dolphins in the canals of Venice in 2020, being shocked and inspired both at the same time. In innovation, we wish to focus on technology and democracy, establishing safeguards to prevent the weaponization of new technologies that aim to harm the democratic process, and bringing faith, once again, to our democratic institutions. And we are committed to ensuring equal access to all, especially those with disabilities, to all public institutions. We're also committed to working towards making the EU a full member of the G7 by allowing it to host. It's part of the rotating presidency, as every other member of the G7 has been able to do. And we wish to continue to discuss peace and security, not just in Ukraine, but also in Gaza and in Palestine. The EU has always been a leader in the world. As a project, 7 years ago, few thought that we would be here, few thought that we would succeed, yet here we are. And I think that we should all remember this when we think that the problems of today are not solvable, when we think that our tools are not necessary. We are still here, we're still standing, and we're stronger than ever. Thank you.
Thank you, Augusto. I'd now like to give the floor to France. Angel Prieto, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Mr. Italian Ministry of Youth and Sport, dear fellow delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to represent you the French delegation and our priorities. So I have with me Tom Jouvet, Eleonore Terville, Bastien Bauducel, and I'm Angel Prieto. You're aware that we're confronted today to two big transformations that are key if you want to thrive in the 21st century. The first of them is the environmental transformation, which is essential to ensure our planet remains livable. It's as easy as this. Second, the digital transformation, which is changing our societies at an unprecedented scale and pace. To successfully meet these challenges and ensure a just transition, we are committed to redirect financial flows to a brown economy, from the brown economy to the green economy. Therefore, we ask G7 leaders to implement common taxes on wealth, on oil and gas companies' super profits, and also to make sure that every single public funding is confronted to environmental requirements. We also ask to bridge the SDG funding gap, which is estimated at more than $4 trillion, by an ambitious SDG stimulus package, which could be directed both at G7 countries and also at developing countries. Because we're facing a deep democratic crisis in G7 countries and that we cannot achieve a just transition if we don't have a healthy citizens' participation, we urge G7 leaders to increase the use of democratic tools such as citizen assemblies that allow everyone to reflect on how we together realize this just transition, and for instance, on how to ensure that everyone that gets access to essential resources such as energy and water, which are becoming more and more scarce. For instance, with a social pricing scheme where everyone gets free access to a minimum amount required for basic living needs, and then the more you consume, the more you proportionally pay. Last, but not least, it seems very important to us that citizens regain control of their personal data because it is also an essential democratic matter, and because today we see that big tech companies have more and more power thanks to the use of this personal data, and that citizens cannot really control how their data is used for. That's why we ask G7 leaders to generalize best-in-class legislation on this matter to all G7 countries. We're looking forward to a fruitful week of cooperation and collaboration, of boldness and courage, as the Italian delegation very well said it, which more than ever before are essential today. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Now the floor goes to Germany with Lisa Mastjuk.
Thank you very much for having us here today. Dear all, I would like to present to you the German delegation. We have Moritz Böbel, Isabel Rutkowski, and Maurice Bessling, as well as myself, Lisa Mastjuk. And we're happy to be here today and present to you our priorities of the delegation. We want to put a strong focus on strengthening individual rights, ensuring a balance between the innovative spirit and industrial accountability, as well as guaranteeing the resilience of democratic processes in the face of new AI-based threats. Concerning sustainability and climate change, we want to push on a full, funded, and fair fossil fuel phase-out. Besides that, another important step into a sustainable future is a global supply chain law that respects human rights, social standards, as well as environmental due diligence obligations. In the Future of Work track, we want to focus on strengthening workers' rights for upskilling and reskilling to prepare the workers for the future of work. Furthermore, fostering progressive work situations, such as the possibility of working flexible in terms of time and location. We are also committed to overcome the gender health gap through a stronger focus on gender equal research. And we want to foster the implementation of the Youth, Peace and Security agenda to include young people in the peacemaking and the peacekeeping. Thank you very much. We look forward to work together with you and have fair but tough negotiations.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Now the floor goes to Japan with Tomohiro Tsuchida. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and the remarkable YS team, my name is Tomohiro Tsuchida, and I'm privileged to serve as a Japanese head delegate at this momentous Y7 summit. We extend our deepest gratitude to YS for organizing this platform where global young leaders convene to shape the future. Please allow me to introduce the dedicated members of our delegation, Ms. Hinako Kijima for inclusion, Mr. Daisuke Masuda for innovation, and Ms. Koko Usami for future work and I for environment. As we face global crises that will profoundly impact future generations, our delegation is committed to advancing solutions that are not only innovative and sustainable, but also deeply human-centric. In environment track, we focus on creating the standardized education framework, promoting smart and decentralized energy systems, and initiating a G7 scheme to support SMEs and startups in future technologies. In inclusion track, we emphasize the importance of fostering global solidarity and respect across social divides, highlighting the role of civic education. In the innovation track, we focus on combating AI-related deception, enhancing global cybersecurity and AI collaboration, and creating a fund to support women in STEM. In the future of work track, we promote flexible and platform work arrangement and advocate for an international employment classification for platform workers, ensuring their rights and protections. Thank you all here today for your commitment and collaboration. Let us move forward with a shared vision, weaving together diverse perspectives to craft effective and just solutions. Together, let's inspire change that addresses our present and secures our future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tomohiro. Now the floor goes to the United Kingdom with Melody Stephen.
Dear delegates and distinguished guests, I, Melody Stephen, Folu Ogunyeye, Ozzy Sevetbaka, and Juhi Radia from the UK delegation are honoured to be representing the young people of the UK today. I'm grateful to them to have given me the privilege to speak on behalf of the four of us today at this ceremony. Between us, we represent the rich tapestry of the United Kingdom. Our heritage spans from several countries, from Ireland to Togo to Cyprus, India, and Nigeria. The diversity of our great country has been a strength, from our politics to our culture and to our aspirations. We welcome the most diverse cabinet ever elected and our first Asian Prime Minister these last 2 years. We welcome the industrious efforts and the ways in which our country has led in artificial intelligence at the Bletchley AI Summit, the pioneering research into the 4-day week, and the advancement made in the green economy. As our country heads towards an election, we celebrate the achievements that we can see, which has meant that the four of us, diverse as we are, can stand united. However, in the most civic year yet, with the most amount of elections in recent memory, with over 2 billion votes to be cast this year, we recognize that we have strides to make to continue to achieve the just, fair, and inclusive world where every voice matters. It is in this great endeavor towards a just, fair, and inclusive society that we acknowledge what we need, from the homelessness crisis that we currently are experiencing in our country to the generational divides that continue to widen on many issues home and abroad. People having to choose between a warm home or a warm meal due to the fuel crisis. These issues are real to us. This is our future. The country that we inherit, we aim to impact positively through this collaborative effort today. So to that end, we make our priorities clear. We desire a future where inclusivity is not a tick box exercise, where structures aren't upholding the historic exclusion of minorities, where diversity and inclusion is not a political tool to create more wars, because make no mistake, a culture war leaves scars, wounds, and victims just like physical wars. We do not wish for the world to advance technology at the expense of the global south, nor the traditionally or institutionally excluded, to continue to create a digital divide. Because in truth, a digital divide divides us in actuality as much as physical segregation or ghettoization ever has. We do not desire a future of work to be at the cost of our well-being, mental health. Mental health is health. It is not just in our minds. And the greatest gaslighting of a generation, the climate crisis, Despite floods, melting ice caps, and overflowing scientific evidence, the avalanche that we need to stop this tsunami is barely a trickle. Our wars have become cultural, physical, our divides are regional, digital, and our work is virtual and mental. These are the new frontiers. It is young people who often sit at the edge of the new frontier. Whether internet is a human right, the 4-day week, funding diverse talent, our priorities are just that these frontiers shape and cultivate a new world that is more just, a world that is more inclusive for all countries and for all people. And I cannot end without saying that for all the young people without a voice in countries where there are wars, where they're not able to be themselves, we are also your voice today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Melody. Now the floor goes to the United States of America with Morgan Williams. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. We would first like to extend our thanks to the Director General Dong Yu, Minister Tajani, Minister Abodi, Mr. Antonelli, and of course to our fellow delegates who have left us with a pretty tough act to follow. It's with great pleasure and honor that I present the U.S. 2024 Y7 delegation. We have Fajar Delaine, our Inclusion and Equal Opportunities delegate, Senkai Xia, our Environmental Sustainability and Climate delegate. Mason Molesky is our Innovation and Digital Transformation delegate. And finally, I am Morgan Williams, the New Skills, Entrepreneurship, and Future of Work delegate. As citizens of G7 nations, we find ourselves positioned at a critical juncture, navigating 3 fundamental transitions: the green, the digital, and the demographic. These shifts hold power to shape not only the trajectory of young people now, but also the landscape of future generations. With mental health issues rising alongside the cost of education and housing, as well as the speed of technology accelerating rapidly, as many as 7 in 10 young adults in the United States report they face more challenges than their parents' generation. The decisions that are made or not made by our G7 governments at this moment will significantly impact our economic stability, security, and overall well-being, setting the course for the decades to come. And it is in this context that shapes our policy priorities as the U.S. delegation, including 1, recognizing the importance of reaching net zero greenhouse gas emissions to avoid the catastrophic climate risks by 2050 by accelerating the energy transition and advancing environmental justice, as well as advancing environmental justice for marginalized and indigenous communities, as well as cultivating a more inclusive and equal society by strengthening anti-discrimination measures, increasing transparency, and investing in programs that nurture diverse talent pipelines. 3rd, putting safeguards in place and strengthening youth worker voice so that workers have the skills to take advantage of the benefits of new technology without exposing themselves to hiring biases or other forms of exploitation. And finally, the need to support technological innovation through investment in digital public infrastructure for low and middle income countries and regions, as well as enabling both AI's rapid adoption and implementation of appropriate guardrails. It's our commitment to these policies that underscores our values to foster prosperity, peace, and equity for all, now and in the future. As Minister Abodi said before, these challenges won't be solved by one country, nor will they be solved without youth voices, which is why we look forward to continued fruitful exchanges over the next 5 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all the delegations for presenting your priorities. And we have heard a lot about all the themes that, as Alberta mentioned earlier, are the priorities of the Y7 this year. And as Alberta mentioned as well, this has been a long process that started quite a few months ago, and we have been very lucky to be with our friends and colleagues of the Young Ambassador Society who have led the work of the delegation this year. And for this reason, I'd like to give the floor now to each Y7 chair track to share some of the priorities that they've been working on along with the international delegations. And I'd like to start with the environmental sustainability and climate change track. Giulia Di Donato, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Eduardo. Distinguished guests, ministers, yes, colleagues, dear delegates and young people, welcome and thanks for being here today. It's a pleasure to be here and to introduce together with Gabriele Casella the Environmental Sustainability and Climate Change track. The Environmental Sustainability and Climate Change track focuses on policies aimed at addressing biodiversity loss, pollution and climate change, ensuring environmental sustainability. G7 policies are still insufficient and largely inadequate to tackle the climate crisis. In this regard, it is crucial to incorporate young voices, not only to raise environmental awareness, but also in envisioning and designing ambitious and evidence-based policies to tackle ecological and climate challenges. This track has three main priority areas. Firstly, climate action, as climate empowerment policies should support a just and inclusive transition, assist impacted communities and vulnerable groups, and expand climate education for future green jobs. Secondly, low-carbon energy, as G7 countries should transform their current energy-intensive lifestyle and transition away from their fossil fuel energy systems. Fostering innovation in low-carbon technologies, promoting sustainable production and consumption models, and investing in sufficiency measures are crucial to reduce energy and material demand. Lastly, environmental safeguard, as G7 leaders must prioritize the protection of the global commons, the restoration of ecosystems, the design of sustainable agrosystems, and the prevention of biodiversity loss, as well as the reduction of pollution and waste. Disruptive policy action in these areas is needed to transform our current economic models and deliver human well-being for all within planetary boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Giulia, and also thanks to Gabriele Casella for chairing the track this year. Now the floor goes to Francesca Passudetti, who along with Allegra Ianiri have chaired the New Skill, Entrepreneurship and the Future Work track. The word goes to Allegra.
Thank you. Distinguished partner and guest, Honorable Minister Abodi, and of course esteemed delegates. It's a great honor to be here with you today. I'm Allegra Ianiri, and with Francesca Passudetti, we are the co-chairs of the Y7 New Skills, Entrepreneurship and Future Work track. The present time of digital, green and demographic transition represent a complex period in which both significant challenges and also unique opportunities coexist. Disruptive technologies pose important risks to traditional employment, but they also offer the potential for creating new industries and new work dynamics that can foster sustainable and inclusive progress. Within this evolving landscape, quality education and training that provides youth with essential transversal skills is key to facilitate a smooth transition into the workforce. And also lifelong learning is crucial to stay relevant in a rapid changing and highly competitive market. The next generation of workers must also possess skills that are aligned with the sustainability concern so that they can foster the transition towards an environmentally and socially conscious economy. In this regard, workplaces should prioritize a sustainable and human-centric approach. Equally imperative is the establishment of robust social protection systems that adapt to new technologies, new working conditions, and new contractual arrangements. Finally, youth entrepreneurship needs to play an important role to boost widespread development and regional growth. But some challenges still remain, so for instance, equitable access to investment, and we need to tackle them properly. Above all, the Y7 delegates encourage G7 countries to promote cultural, professional, and skills exchange programs across borders, with the spirit of cooperation that we all share in this room today, so that we can enhance knowledge sharing and also mutual understanding. In pursuing these actions, let's be united in the commitment to build a future of work where young people are empowered, opportunities are equitable, and growth is sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I have the pleasure to give the floor to Davide Fanciulli, who, along with Roberta Lesma, have chaired the Inclusion and Equal Opportunities track. So, Davide, the floor is yours.
Esteemed guests, delegates, my name is Davide and I'm a co-chair of the track on Inclusion and Equal Opportunities, together with my colleague Roberta Lesma. And first of all, thank you for your precious insights and words. I could really see, as our fellow Italian delegate said, pride and courage in your eyes and in your words. And this couldn't make me more excited to be here and to witness what's to come. Leave no one behind. That's the tagline and the motto behind the 2030 agenda, which is the commitment that 193 countries signed in 2015 with the 2030 agenda to eradicate extreme poverty and social inequalities within a thriving planet. Yet, current crises are showing us that we are not there. And why so? What are the structural gaps that needs to be filled in order for us to achieve a truly sustainable development? These are two key questions that, together with the Inclusion and Equal Opportunities track delegates, we've been trying to discuss and negotiate in these months. And we came up with four main lenses within this conversation. First one is the lens of access to equal opportunities, to basic rights and services. That's the backbone of a fair society. The second and the third approach regards to how does inclusion and equal opportunities unfold within both the public and the private sector, so within policymaking, but also within business. And the fourth, last, and I would say most crucial one is how can we make sure that all these happens within a planet that is at peace, within society that is at peace. We are facing current conflicts and wars and crises that are really showing how no sustainable development is possible if conflicts are there. So how can we manage that, and how can we manage crises that we're facing nowadays? So these are the four key priority areas that the track on inclusion and equal opportunities is currently drafting and is currently negotiating with passion and commitment. And it's looking forward to present to all of you at the end of these days within the final communiqué. So once again, thank you very much. We're very happy to have you here, and we're very proud to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Davide. And now, last but not least, the floor goes to Fabio Boniolo, who chaired the Innovation and Digital Transformation track, along with Lucrezia Lanza. Fabio, please.
Dear ministers, honorable guests, delegates, and fellow guests. We have just heard the powerful words of our fellow delegates, who shall not be forgotten throughout this summit and beyond. As Innovation and Digital Track, we have been focusing not only on the risks of emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence, but also on the opportunities that these might offer. We have placed democracy at the heart of our work, discussing on how to preserve it and defend it from digital threats, while improving democratic processes and making them more inclusive for young people all over the world. We identified the digital space as a critical space where young citizens can meet, interact, and exercise their rights. We discussed on how to raise awareness on the risks of online platforms, on how to protect and educate digital users while raising awareness among service providers and other regulators. Finally, we wanted to take one step further and look at the future. We asked how to foster innovation and entrepreneurship in biomedicine, agriculture, finance, and many other fields, while trying to keep safety, transparency, and human rights at the center. I would then just like to highlight once more what an honor it has been to work alongside all of you and seeing you coming up with incredible proposals that you will be showing to the G7 presidency. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fabio, and once again, thank you so much to all the Y7 chair tracks that this year have led the work of the Y7 delegations. It's been a long process, but we are here today to start one of the most important steps of the Y7 process this year and the Y7 Summit 2024 that is going to happen this week until Friday. Now I think it's a time for a quick break, but after the short break, so I invite you, all of you, to stay here or just outside this door, because we are going to welcome the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, Kyu Dong-yu. So I'll see everybody in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being back in the room. Thank you very much for all the delegates coming from the G7 countries. So today we are at the opening ceremony of the Y7. The Y7 is the official engagement group of the G7. That is the platform that gives the possibility to young people to directly push their ideas and proposals to the G7. Now we have the honor to have with us the DG of the FAO, and I would like to thank also FAO because you're hosting us in your location for the works on the next day. So from tomorrow on, we will be discussing together with all the young people directly in the FAO headquarters. I have the pleasure and the honor to leave the floor for the closing remarks of the opening ceremony of the Y7 2024 to DG of the FAO. Thank you very much for being with us, DG Kyu Dong-yu. Thank you.
Thank you very much, because my colleagues made the wrong choice of road to come to the minister here, because they are old. The driver, Vincenzo, he's 62, so and he didn't listen to a younger driver, Emano. I started saying that we have to realize the difference of the age, different. There are some generation gaps, for sure. So that's why I'm personally, I fully engage all the youth in the UN system, global movement, not only G7, G20. You know, I'm not young anymore, but I keep myself as young at heart. Yeah, because, you know, just 20 years ago, I was elected as a vice chair of the All Youth Federation in China. We have 21, 22 vice chair, and I was one of them. But we work with 344 million youth in China. So I always consider myself as a friend to the youth, to the young people. I knew the young people, not only your natural age is young, and also you represent the future. What is the future is in your hand, not in our hand. sometimes a lot of senior people try to control your future. No, that's wrong. That's also, I'm a geneticist. We have to create a new generation by the research also for plants. I was a plant geneticist. So that's my, the career. Any position in China or abroad, I always support the youth engagement. Because I always remind myself, you are future. You represent future, you have to participate in the design future. That's my philosophy of life. And that's why since I arrived at FAO 2019, first since I established a FAO Youth Committee. I knew there are a lot of ambassadors, representatives in FAO, they are not young. Few of them, they are young. But most of them, they didn't understand what the value of the FAO Youth Committee. And then I said, FAO Youth Committee should be initiated by me, not young, but I said young at heart, but it should be manager, lead by youth. That's why they invite the relatively younger senior staff, chief economist, Dr. Maximo Torero. He was youngest member of my co-leaders, become the FAO Youth Committee chair. And then we select a lot of young people, they're younger than 40 or 30 years old of the employees, become the vice chair and members, establish the FAO networks globally. So because FAO, we have 194 members and operate in 168 countries. We have more than 120 country offices. So we are fully dependent on young people to lead. And during the past 4 years, all the change, dynamic change, I really appreciate the innovation, dynamic, and also the fully engagement by the younger people. And also through that, even they are not the young age, I said the young at heart people, and more become the younger psychologically. Yeah? And then I said, I want to share with you some of the not the naturally young. So we have 4 ages. Natural age, you couldn't change. I'm 60 years old. Maybe you are 30 plus, you are 20 plus. No, I'm a geneticist. I can scan your age. It's that's a natural age. And then physical age. I encourage you to have a good green lifestyle, to do proper exercises, and to keep yourself physically younger. That's the second age. A lot of people, they are older, 80 years old, but still they are very healthy physically. Not only, of course, the natural age is 80 years old. And then come the third one, is psychological age. I know all of the young people, you face a lot of challenges. Like myself, when I was your age, I always recall myself 55 years ago when I was 5 years old. We didn't have enough food. Yeah, in 1960s, so that's the globally, the 80% in the developed country people, they have kids that they didn't have enough food. But now, of course, less than 10%. It's a big, remarkable achievement during the past 60 years. That's why the FAO-DG that time established the World Food Program. World Food Program received the donation of the grains and the food from the United States at the beginning, and then from Europe and from others. So that's become the very impactful program, and that's why 4 years ago got the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, so I think that's a big change, but now you face more challenge than we had, I think, because you have more demand from your side, and the society have a more possibility for you too. So it's a big challenge for you. You have to select. yourself. Different career, different way of life, different of even a girl or boyfriend. Yeah, because it's open, transparent, digital society. So you have a more challenge than us. That time we only one goal, have enough food. But now you have so many goals. Yeah, that's another challenge we didn't face. Somehow we were simple. You were a more complicated person and generations. That's not because of individually, because of modernization and industrialization, urbanization, now digitalization. So how to tackle the challenges together? You need collective thinking. You know any individuals, no matter you are from the rich countries, G7 or G20 or others, world has become one small village because of digital. Because 40 years ago, when I traveled to the United States, you can read the newspaper in US Today, and then maybe 1 year later, you saw some Chinese version in China. But now, any place in the world, you got news. Sadly, yesterday, the helicopter crashed. Yeah? Now everyone knows. Yeah? But before, I think maybe 1 month, even several months later, some country at the corner of less developed countries, they got to know the news. But now it's instant. Somehow it's good. Somehow you create a lot of pressure. We call it information pressure. Too many data, too many information. You have to digest it properly with your own thinking, your logic, evidence-based, data-based. So how to tackle those kind of overlapping crises, not only climate change, bigger things. I think even your own career design, yeah? What is FAO value for you? FAO is not only food and agriculture organization, it's a name, yes. 80 years ago, it was established in Hot Spring, West Virginia in 1943. Focus on food and non-food agriculture and forestry, fishery, land and water, and so on and so forth. And of course, the food is essential. That time, 90% of people didn't have enough food during World War II. But now still we keep that up. But the more and more expanded to agroforestry, biodiversity, water and land management, how to use the land properly, and how to design the enabling policy together. And also how to attract the investment, how to develop the digital agriculture, and how to develop digital villages. I saw someone from Japan, I think, also, China, Korea, or Kenya, and those countries are a championship on the digital economy, digital agriculture, e-commerce, you name it. So we have to adapt ourselves to the new world, new scenario of the world by the digital world. That's the new challenge from not only from AI and from this industrialization, urbanization, and digitalization, what I said. So FAO is an intergovernmental organization, but we will do more and better. In shorter, we have to support members produce more with less. More quantity, high quality, more food diversity. Not only biodiversity, food diversity. Italy, we're lucky. We enjoy relatively food diversity. But compare other developed countries, you are much better. But compare the East Asia, you have a much less food diversity. Yeah, or Africa, traditional foods. There are so many food diversity. We had to develop international food diversity, produce more with less, and also less impact, environment, negative impact, and also less agriculture input, and less food loss and waste. That's especially food waste. I encourage all of you, younger generation, zero waste. I never waste food. Yeah. So please build on the green lifestyles to protect the environment. walk the talk from yourself. And then empower the science innovation. Science innovation is only the potential solutions for all of the challenges we faced. And last but not least, we need the 4 betters. Better production, better nutrition, better environment, a better life, leaving no one behind. Any type of the production, not only agricultural production, electronic, and electronic vehicles. It's also, you need the better production, better nutrition. Yeah? What is the better nutrition for electronic vehicle? Have you think about that? That the nutrition will give you a very comfortable environment and also more healthy information. It's based on AI supported. And then, of course, a better environment, not only for big environment, trees and water pollution and air pollution, how to prevent, how to harness that kind of pollution. And also the internal, like this buildings, if we put some flowers, yeah? That's why when I come into FAO, you will see, ask my colleagues to put a lot of flowers there. Before I come, no flowers in FAO buildings. It's strange for me. That's not the better environment for the staff to work. Not only bigger environment, agro environment. We need more trees in the park, more flowers, more ornamental plants, more forest coverage on the mountains. That's another natural environment. And a better life. Not only better livelihood, you need more money to earn, improve your profit. And also you need to address the issues related to your bad quality of life at the different stages. Someone from poor countries and vulnerable countries, even children wasting. Yeah? I'm short because I have not enough nutrition when I was 5. Yeah? But my younger brother is shorter because he had enough nutrition. So they still have a big challenge for most of the developing countries. They don't have enough food and nutrition especially. But life of quality started from the mothers and the condition. That's why a lot of countries, UNICEF addressed that issues. Yeah? And a lot of young mothers, they have no clinical service. How can they have a health kids? And after kids, you need also proper nutrition and health care, and then they grow healthily. So at the age of the middle age, like your age or older senior age, also we need the bad quality of life. That's why back to my 4 ages. Yeah? 3, yeah? Natural age, physical age, psychological age, and then come to last one is social age. Prepare yourself when your body is died, but your life is not dying. That's the social age forever. I wish you good luck, and we should have a good life and the best quality of life at the different stage of your life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director General Kyu Dong-yu. It's been a really great pleasure to see you here, and thank you for joining the opening ceremony of the Y7 this year. It's a great pleasure to have you here after you've been with us at the Y20 in 2021, when Italy hosted the G20. So it's been a great pleasure to see you again, and for all your support to the Y7 engagement group. I'd also like to thank the Chief Economist, Maximo Torero, who's here with us. Thank you so much.
Also, welcome to participate in the World Food Forum in October 14 to that week, because I established a World Food Forum together with the Chief Economist. There are 3 pillars. One is youth and women empowerment engagement, one including indigenous people. Second is science innovation, and third is investment. So any change, not only agriculture and food, rural areas, also the startups. Be honest, I support the startups many years in China. Every year I was organizing 20 to 30,000 startups a week to show your new ideas, new technology, new products. So young people needed the concrete support. So FAO, we wanted you to engage and leading the change of agro-food system in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for reminding this important event, and thanks again for being here and for your valuable insights, and especially on the role of FAO in our society globally, and also reminding us the progress that we have done over the years, but still a lot needs to be done, as the news remind us, in order to promote a sustainable and peaceful world. So thank you so much. I also like to take this opportunity to thank you, the entire team at FAO, in particular the Deputy Director General Martina and his team, for the support that they've given us to this year and to the Y7 in general. Also because we are very proud to be at FAO from tomorrow onwards to do all the works that the youth delegations that you see here are going to carry over. So we are really, really proud and thankful for your support and having us at FAO from tomorrow. So with this, I think there is no better way that ending this opening ceremony of the Y7 2024. Once again, thank to all the honorable guests, the Director General, the Minister Tajani, the Minister Abodi for being with us today, but also a thank you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for hosting us in this very important location. We really look forward to the next days at the FAO, in which the delegations will finalize the Y7 communique. Now you're all invited to join us for lunch. Thank you all for being here, and see you soon. Thank you. Thank you.